It's here, it's all finally here. Welcome to the DDD profile. What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Z for War Games and I'm bringing to you guys the DDD deck profile post Battles of Chaos because all the new support is finally here. The support I've been eagerly waited for. I finally got it. We finally got it. TCG's finally got it. And so I'm excited to bring you guys this profile. I'm going to go straight into it, breeze right through it. I'm going to explain to you all what the new cards do because they're new. So that would be quite nice of me to do, I think. And I explain to you the tech choices that we play in the deck now. Also, I'm going to explain the region locked engine that you play in the deck and explain why it's very good and why, if you have access to it, you should definitely 100% be playing it. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So before I get into all of that, if you enjoy, give us a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification bell, because obviously if you enjoy a person's content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on that content. And that notification bell helps prevent that. And all of that is greatly appreciated. And we thank you guys so much for doing so. So with all that said and done, let's get into this DDD profile. So to start off with, your basic 3-off staples that you now play in all variants. You play your 3 Kepler, your 3 Copernicus, and your brand new 3 Griffin, and your 3 Swell Signs. So I want to put all these layout because all of these you play at 3. These are all fantastic cards that you play in the deck, and all of them help you get your combos going. Kepler, if depending on where you are in the world, it is a 1-card combo in the deck, which is absolutely fantastic. Otherwise, there's a replacement for your other 2-card combos in the deck in terms of like what you could open with, and you'll see that in a future video of combo video later down the line, so stay tuned for that. So Griffin, why is this card now arguably the best DD in the deck? So what Griffin does is that he's a level 4 fiend Pendulum with 1200 attack and defense, scale 1. You can target a fiend monster you control. It gains 500 attack until the end of this turn. For each dark contract, spell or trap with different names currently on the field or in your graveyard. Then destroy this card. Kieran uses the effect of Griffin once per turn. And if you control a DD monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. If this card is Pendulum summoned, you can discard a DD or dark contract to draw 1 card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can add a DD card from deck to hand, except Griffin. And you can only use each effect of Griffin once per turn. This card does so much for you. It is absolutely insane. And I love how it's a super rare, nice little hollow addition to the deck. You definitely play this card at 3. It's absolutely phenomenal. Helps you with all of your combos. Just great card. And yeah, so you definitely play the ratios. So going on to the other cards, we play the 1 Necro Slime, 1 Vice Typhon, and the 2 DD Lamias. Necro Slime, you can bump it up to 2 if you so wish. You don't need to play 3 of this card anymore. I only play 1 of it because in the combo, you send it to graveyard from your hand or deck. No matter where it is, you're going to get into graveyard, you're going to use it from there. And then from that point on, you don't really need to use it again. So there's no real reason for me personally to be playing more than 1 copy of it. Vice Typhon is your other Necro Slime basically in the deck, but it just helps you go into your High Flame King Genghis, because not only is it the Necro Slime component in terms of like fusing from the graveyard, but it's also your high level as well, so it helps you get that scenario going. Lamia is another card I'm tempted to bump down to 1 because you only really use it in 1 particular combo, in my personal opinion. There are other combos where you can use it with the Arc to help you get into a Siegfried, but in my personal testings, I've never had that come up. But it's definitely needed as a in the deck, definitely needed. But 1 to 2 ratio is completely your personal preference. Moving on, we have your pendulums in the forms of your, well, in terms of your scales, where you're going to be setting 2 Magnoa, 2 Orphalos, and one Thomas. I want to go through these cards first before I get into the next bit, in terms of your scale components. These two, 100%, you're going to be putting in your scales majority of your combos, because this helps you pop cards on your board mid-combo, and Ragnarok is your revival. You'll just want to have them in your scale. Just gets you so much advantage, gets you so much recursion, gets you so much recovery as well. A Ragnarok in the scale is very devastating for your opponent to have to deal with, because you can always trigger it and it can just help you flood your boards back. Thomas, you use it in certain combos, helps you recur your stuff back from your extra deck to your hand for future plays, and so Thomas is a nice addition to the deck. DD Baphomet, it does help you in terms of getting to your rank 4 plays, which is what you really want to be doing. You need to get into your Wave King Caesar, and so Baphomet does help you do that in those very weird hands, but it also helps you play through disruptions as well if you can get on board. It also helps you go into your rank 6 players as well, because he can level adjust to whatever level you so wish, and also if you do play it, it can also do rank 8s as well. So Baphomet is a very nice addition to the deck as a whole. Now we're getting into what I like to call the region locked part of the deck, and that is Go DDD Rage and Cerberus. The only reason you play this, the reason you play this, I don't want to say the only reason, the reason you do play this is because it enables Kepler as a 1-card combo for multitude of different end boards, just by having this in the deck. By having this card, particularly this card in the deck, but you combo it with Cerberus, because Cerberus can level adjust in the Pendulum scale. Again, it allows Kepler to just go off all on his own, which is absolutely devastating, absolutely phenomenal. And if you can play it, you play it. The reason I say that, if you don't know already, is because here in the UK and EU and things of that nature, you can't play manga promos until that card has been reprinted in one way, shape or form. You cannot use a card that has only had a manga print, and unfortunately, till this day of recording, Go Zero King Rage is still only a manga printed card, which sucks, because now only American and Canadian and places of that nature can utilize this card, which means depending on what region you're in, the variance of the deck and what you can end on and what combos you can perform, vastly different, which really sucks and is a big disappointment in my personal opinion, and I think to a lot of other DDE players as well. Is a great big disappointment. So I put him here in the profile because I want this profile to be watched and viewed by all people, and a nice example for all viewers out there. So if you do have access to manga promos, definitely 100% play this engine of these two cards. 100% highly recommend. Once you put it in your deck, you'll see your hands and possibilities of what your hands can do just multitude tenfold, like 100%. If you cannot afford have the ability to play this engine, I would advise playing something like Triple Tactics Talents, in my personal opinion. It doesn't fix the problem. It's not like 100% like this does now this and it's the exact same thing, but what this does means that you can now, if your opponent does try to ash you and disrupt you, you can either use this to dig through your deck a bit further, or just rip another card out your opponent's hand. It doesn't exactly, as I said, perform the exact same function as a 1-card combo to getting another hand trap out your opponent's hand, but it does help you play through a disruption and give you more options. So it's weird for me to describe it and how I see it like that, but this is just something that I would personally probably recommend if you have them. If you can't play this engine, if you can play this engine, you'd play this engine. If I could play this engine, I'd be playing this engine. It does so much for you. Not only again the 1-card combo, but Go Zero King Rage is a great boss monster. Helps you push through hand traps by just halting the entire hand, and it's just a nice game finish as well. Moving on or continuing the spells, the contracts is obviously 3 gates, 1 Swamp King, and the 1 brand new field spell contract with patent licenses. What this card does is that if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters with the same card type, fusion, single, exceeds, or link as a triple D you control, except during damage step, you can inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Also, while this card is on the field, your opponent cannot special summon monsters with that same card type as that special summon monster for the rest of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a DD from the graveyard or face up Pendulum in your extract to your hand. You can use this effect of patent contracts once per turn. So yes, it is broken. If you can get this card on field with a board, you're literally just locking your opponent out from playing the game. Yes, they get 1 summon, but that 1 summon is going to probably either be negated or absorbed by your new Xyz monster, and then they're locked out from that summon mechanic for the rest of this turn, which is just absolutely nuts, absolutely insane. And if you want to play more copies to have it on the field, you can easily do so. I would definitely recommend trying it out at the very least. I think 1's enough. I don't really end on the board with it. I feel like there's another card in the deck that kind of fulfills a similar purpose, but is much more easier to set up. But you send this in your graveyard. You send this to the graveyard from your deck in mid combos to help recycle your extra deck to your hand to help build up your board. Moving on is 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. It's just pot of greed for the deck. Why not play it? We then have the 1 for 1. It's another copy of Kepler. And I played 2 texts of 1 Call by the Grave and 1 Instant Fusion. Call by the Grave isn't really a tech, but I do see some people now taking it out the deck, which is very bizarre to me. But Instant Fusion isn't my personal tech at the moment, because the extra has at least 2 free slots in it, and I like to use Millenniumize as one of those slots, because it not only helps me go first by setting up obviously a Millenniumize to negate possible interruptions while I combo, but it also does help you go second, because you can bait out either a negate with the Instant Fusion itself, or get that Millenniumize to then just negate and negate as you try and break the opponent's board. So there's a lot of versatilities in the deck. Obviously, if you play techs like We're Off Thou, it also helps you with that as well. But you don't really need to search your level 1s anymore. So there's no real use to play that card anymore in the deck. But I do personally like the Instant Fusion tech for the deck, which is why I still personally play it. Moving on to trap cards, we played the 1 brand new DDD Headhunt. This is the effect negator that I've been wanting for. Not exactly what I've been wanting for. I kind of wanted like a DDD Crystal Ring, but this is just as good in my personal opinion in playing. Normal trap card. If you control a triple D monster, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase of the next turn, but its effects are negated. It cannot declare an attack. Also, if it is a monster's person from the extract, it is also treated as a triple D monster. You can activate 1 triple D Headhunt once per turn. So you can search this with your DDD Griffin, and it just is that effect negator that you want to end on your board with more times than not, because in combo with like this, your High Wave King Caesar, your new Xyz Machina, and a Siegfried, you have like summon negates, monster snatches, spell and trap negate, and a monster negate with a headhunt that also steals, which is just absolutely busted. And then if it's special from the extra, it becomes a triple D, so you can just slap another Machina on top of that, and you can just go off from there. Now, the card that is a tech that now a lot of people are playing, it's also almost becoming a staple now in the deck, because you can just search it mid combo, which is nuts. And it's Dark Contract with Eternal Errors. Well, basically what this card does, which is just absolutely insane, is that while you have a complete DDD scale, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with effects, and they cannot use monsters for fusion, synchro, or XC summons, which is just absolutely insane. So it basically says, while I have a scale, my board is untargetable and you can only link summon. You can only link or ritual, which is just absolutely crazy. And we're getting into a formats now where like not many people link summon nowadays, other than things like your Tri Brigade matchup. But so this card is just like almost a blowout in most scenarios nowadays, which is absolutely nuts. And you'll see it in the combos how easily searchable this card is. And then to round up the main deck, we're playing triple copies of Impermanence. You can take this card out for Forbidden Chalice. I see that's a very popular option at the moment. So it's completely to your personal preference. This deck can play hand traps now, which is very, very handy. And if you want to play hand traps, the text are saying you can take out, or you can just take out like those. And if you want to drop like a Lamia Dam, that's like 3 slots in there that you can play as well, which is just very, very handy. The deck is very flexible now in terms of like how you want to play it, so it's completely now up to your personal preference. Moving on to the extra for fusions is your obviously double Genghis, one big Genghis, D-Arc, because she does help you out in certain combos and scenarios where you can make her keep on going and then use her with a Lamia to make your Siegfried. And obviously my personal tag of the Millennium Minus Restrict. The one synchro we play now is Siegfried. You can play more synchros if you wish. The only other synchro option that I'd probably recommend, that I definitely also see people playing, is a level 10 option. Obviously the most popular one, if you can afford it, is Baron de Fleur, because there are scenarios where you can make her under 5 summons before you do your full combo, so you have a monster negate to stop a Nibiru. That's something you can do. Personally, I never see myself needing to do that, and I also don't have a Baron de Fleur anymore. I saw that a little while ago because I needed funds, and Baron de Fleur was money at the time. So, unfortunately do not own one. It's something I'd probably try if I was going to like a regionals. I'd probably borrow someone's. But currently in testing, I've never seen myself needing it. There's times where you make Baron de Fleur under 5 summons. You can just make a High Rave King Caesar, which does the exact same purpose. So you could just do that. So I only need the one synchro, which is the Siegfried, which is absolutely fantastic for your deck. The one other non-DD you're playing is Zeus, because literally, it's so easy now, thanks to this new card, Triple D Deviser King Deus Machina. You can make Zeus so easily. You can literally make a Zeus from a fusion summon, which is just bonkers because of this nutty card. So what this card does is that it takes 2 level 10s to make, or it's also a scale 10 exceeds with 3000 attack and defense. Or you can also exceed summon this card by using a Triple D monster you control as material. Transfers materials to this card. So you can literally use Swirl Slime, make a Genghis, slap this on top, swing in, going second, and then make a Zeus. So your Zeus can only nuke the board once, but that's all you need to clear your opponent's board or disrupt them on their next turn, which is absolutely bonkers. So what this card also does is you can only control one Deviser King Machina in your monster zone. Once per chain, when a monster card your opponent controls activates its effect's quick effect, you can either detach 2 materials from this card or destroy Dark Contract card you control, and if you do, attach the opponent's card to this as material. And then once per turn during your standby phase, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. It's a scale 10. So this card is nuts. It is absolutely insane. You play at least 2 copies of it in your extra deck, because there are combos which you'll see in future combo guide. You make 2 of this in one single combo, which is just bonkers. It really does help with your plays, helps with your end boards being as strong as possible, and it does so much disruptions. It's absolutely insane. It doesn't negate the monster effect, but by taking the monster off the board, same logic as to why people like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, because you're just taking the monster off the board, so that's a less material that your opponent can use for their plays. Yeah, the effect can still go through, but again, you're removing the material, which is almost, if not more devastating than just negating the effect. So 1 High Wave King Caesar, you end your boards with it. For your combo, you play Marksman King Tail and Wave King Caesar. Also, just look at this, guys. Before, we were doing like nearly 10 synchros in our extra deck, like 8 synchros in our extra deck. We're now completely reversed. We've got 1 synchro in our extra deck and 6 Xyz monsters. It's so nice to see not only the usage of Xyz now in this archetype being more prominent, but also the fact that barring 2 cards in this extract, everything's a DD. And I've seen builds that just have a complete DDD extract. It's so nice to see. It makes me happy. The only link we play is Gilgamesh. You use 2 in combo, and there are plays where you can use all 3. So you play 3 of them because it's the only one you need. It sets up your scale, and you don't care about being locked into DDs now. In fact, you welcome the fact that you can lock yourself into DDs, because that's all you're playing, that's all you're doing. But that, guys, is the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed it. Literally, I recorded this yesterday. It was nearly 30 minutes long because I included combos in it, and I just have so much to talk about this because it's got new support, and I wanted to break down the new support, explain what it does, and all the text that you now play in the deck. And so I wanted to redo the video just to make it a bit better for you guys to enjoy. So as I said, there will be a combo guide coming up on the channel, so do stay tuned for that when it shows up, so you guys can get the bare minimum of what you want to be doing with the deck and with the new cards. And then from those combos, you can branch off and experiment, learn other ways to perform those combos depending on the scenarios and the hands that you have, and what end boards you want to see. You're seeing the combos that literally 1 single Kepler ends on 3 possibilities, and you'll enjoy that once that video is up. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.